cranked out another half hour of chit chat there.
I know, dude. Hey, it turns out we like talking to each other. We're just like hanging out.
What do you know?
Hey, it turns out the friend that you had for 2 decades, good God. Yeah.
I know when Glenn mentioned that Deej was like 10 years old, I'm like, Jesus Christ. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pursuing Pixels. My name's Kevin Portelli, and I'm here tonight with John Hines.
Hey there.
And it's just the two of us this week. I feel like we started off this year with a lot of these duo episodes, but we've had the full crew in the house for the last handful of episodes here. But yeah, Randall was not able to make it this week. We've had a few weeks actually since our last proper sit down recording session.
Yeah,
so
for real.
I like how we've been able to do that though with our schedules, stockpile, do a few in a row when we're all doing a bunch of gaming or everyone's schedules line up, and then have a few weeks off. Number one, it's nice on those few weeks off to dig into a bunch of different games or dig deep into one specific game, which I will admit I haven't been doing the best job of lately.
Oh, I've been doing it on your behalf.
Well, I've been doing the former of the things that I mentioned. I've been doing a lot of sampling and playing, a 20-30 minute, either recording a video of 20-30 minutes of gameplay and commentary and whatnot, or just playing games here and there in little short bursts before bed on the Switch. So I've been, I haven't sunk my teeth in deeply into anything huge or even anything, all that significantly. I keep saying I want to play through a game and fully beat it and whatnot. And I've been kind of trying to do that, though, to just kind of get into the first little topic here. I got my Wii U all hooked back up, and I can't remember if I actually mentioned that on a proper Save It for the Cast or episode or anything like that.
We've all hooked up our Wii U's again. It is the
Randall?
Season of Wii U on
Did
Pursuing
Randall hook
Pixels.
his up, too?
I think Randall probably has it.
He probably
already
has it hooked
set
up, yeah.
On a specific TV.
Yeah, exactly. All calibrated, ready to go. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I know I did mention it because I remember I mentioned playing Fling Smash and a few other things. But after visiting you in Chicago, John, I actually went to the video game store when I came back. And was browsing around. It actually might have been right before I came. I think it was because I was browsing around and I picked up Star Fox Zero for a pretty good price. Mm-hmm. But I remember thinking that I was a little bit bummed that it was just that game. It didn't have Star Fox Guard. And then when I came to visit you, you showed me that game for a few minutes. So I was I guess it seemed pretty cool, but I wasn't oh man, I need to have that in my collection. So I was happy to, just play Star Fox Zero here. And I got to say, playing the first level, it's oh man, this pretty much just feels like a Star Fox game. Obviously they're trying to force this gamepad, secondary screen gameplay cockpit mode into the game a little bit, but you can sort of turn off the gyro aiming to where it only activates when you're pressing the shoot button. Although you're pretty much pressing the shoot button at all times. So at a point, it's doesn't really help all that much. And then as the game progresses, they start throwing all these different vehicles at you, which in those cases, in certain vehicles, the gyro is just always on. Even if you have that toggle turned off, it just seems to be on no matter what, which can be a little bit frustrating, more than a little bit frustrating. I'll say I'm having a good time with this game. I've played the first, I think 5 or 6 stages. And the first stage, right off the bat, I was this is awesome. I was I can't believe people don't like this game. I don't know what people are talking about. Even the control stuff, it's a little bit finicky, but it wasn't, I was able to pretty much just play it like I was playing a regular Star Fox game, Star Fox 64 or whatever. And I'm not the biggest, diehard Star Fox 64 or Star Fox fan in general. I've played the games and I enjoy them and everything, but I'm not somebody who swears up and down by 64 or has all the stages memorized or anything like that. But the first stage of the game really feels almost like a reimagining, longer version of the first stage in Star Fox 64.
Yep.
And then even when you go into some of the, subsequent stages, they start throwing a lot of all range mode at you. Mm-hmm. So you're really meant to be using on the TV screen, it's almost just a cinematic camera mode. And you're using the L trigger to lock onto enemies. And then it keeps them like in frame in this really like cinematic way, which I guess if you're just watching might look cool, but it can get just like really disorienting, like having to keep looking up, looking down, and the battles can just take so long on some of those like open all range mode battles or whatever they're called, which is not annoying, but it just can be a little bit tedious when it's like, okay, I just gotta keep firing shots at this one enemy and keep doing the same loop-de-loop maneuver so that they're not like, you know, like wait for them to get right behind me and then do the little, you know, spin thing and then shoot them from behind and then do it all over again. Yeah, it can just get a little bit annoying.
That disorienting is like really the key word that like I remembered, because like I still haven't replayed Zero since we talked about it, like, but I just remember so vividly being like, I cannot get a handle on like, when am I supposed to be looking at the gamepad? When am I supposed to be looking at the screen? When is the like optimal time? Like kind of having a little bit of like brain input lag where like once I've switched to one to the other, I'm like, okay, wait, how do I control this? Like it really was not intuitive as far as I remember.
Yeah. And I feel like they're like switching a little bit too much, like right off the bat. Like before you can even get used to this new ship that they throw at you, they're throwing you a new ship. Like, you know, on one stage you're playing as this like kind of walker thing that you're like running around on your, you know, like two legs. But then at the same time, you can like switch back to the normal ship, but then you can't do it. You can't like fully control it like you normally would. Yeah. But then there's like a drone mode as well that you can swap into, and like that controls differently, and you really have to use the gamepad to like, you know, control the camera, or sometimes you have to like drop this like robot down from like a like crane cable or whatever, and then you like control that robot on the ground, but you're looking at the gamepad screen to see its like first person perspective. Like a lot of ideas that just I feel like got like slapped in, like they're not terribly implemented, but it just seems like so unnecessary.
It didn't feel cohesive. Like
exactly. Like there's just one after another. It's like they just wanted to show off. It's like it kind of feels like it's like a tech demo for the Wii U gamepad, and then they just like fleshed out a full game around it. And the thing that stinks is like it really otherwise like it looks awesome. The graphics are really, really great. Like it really like it's so cool to see a Star Fox game in that kind of fidelity. But at the same time, it's like, man, they really are just like trying to showcase this gamepad so much. And like it really could if they just simplified the control schemes, even if they throw all these different vehicles at you, but just like slightly streamlined it just a little bit more. I think it could really be an awesome game. Because the production values are just top notch.
That tech demo comparison is like spot on, because like it really does feel like almost kind of like the same caliber game as like Nintendo Land.
Exactly.
Which is not bad, but like also not great. Like
it's like here's a good little taste of what the Wii U gamepad can do.
Right, here's like, a reboot of the Star Fox series, and it's like not really coherent, or like especially playing Star Fox Guard, which is a good tower defense game, but still doesn't have like that fully rounded out experience that like it. Star Fox Guard is a good as a pack-in game, but like it also kind of feels weird that it's even a separate game. It really just feels like it could have been like, here's an extra mode in Star Fox Zero. Like,
it doesn't really make sense why it's a separate pack-in, other than to like make it look like, oh, hey, look at this box that's like twice as thick as a normal game.
Yeah, and, absolutely. You know, like it does feel like it was there to literally pad out the game, like physically, in terms of how much space it takes up.
Right, which is a shame. But yeah, Star Fox Guard, the little bit you showed, like again, it leans into that gamepad, like, you know, control
it uses
scheme,
the gamepad,
but like in a good way. Yeah.
Like it's a tower defense game, but you are constantly monitoring static camera angles. Like you have physically put up cameras and you can change where they're like loaded out on the like area. And you're just trying to prevent these robots that are trying to get to your central area or wherever the like vulnerable point in this maze of bunch of walls that you can install these cameras on. But as you're like as the, waves of enemies are coming towards you, you're looking at the gamepad and you are constantly swapping between which camera you're looking at and like adjusting the angles and then shooting. You only have one active turret, which is whichever camera that you're controlling, and then you're shooting out of that. So like, it's a very interesting and fun tower defense game using the gamepad controls, but also doesn't have, it has depth to it. Like they have a bunch of levels and they have a bunch of different waves for each level, and you can customize where, your loadouts are, but there's still not like a ton of content in there.
Yeah, like it feels like it could have been a game in Nintendo Land or something like that. Like it definitely 100%. Feels like a gimmicky, cool idea, but like not enough around it. Yeah. And not that it needed to be. It is like kind of a pack-in game with another Star Fox game, but it's like obviously they felt like they needed to do something with this package to like make it a full release or something, which is it's just kind of a weird curiosity almost.
It's a super weird game.
but I would be very curious to see like Star Fox Zero, if it's possible to get like a port with just like proper just regular controls, and like I'd be curious. Obviously I'd just be curious to see a new game in the series, but being that we've gotten so many Wii U ports on the Switch, I would be curious because it's a great looking game. And I think it's a lot of fun. It's got a good like energy to it, but it's just like a little bit broken around the edges.
Sakurai is finally free from Smash Brothers jail and is doing Kirby's Air Ride. But what I really want is for Sakurai to make a sequel to Kid Icarus Uprising. Holy shit, would that be like Kid Icarus? I think was the Kid Icarus Uprising specifically was the inheritor of Star Fox. Like if you really loved Star Fox 64, I still think the best game that scratches that itch, even though we've had Star Fox Assault, even though we've had Star Fox Zero, like
yeah,
I think that Kid Icarus Uprising is the only thing that comes even close to scratching that itch, and I would love for them to make a second title in that series.
Yeah, or even for that matter, just port that to, up-res it and whatever. Again, not just, obviously it's easier said than done.
I'm
sure the controls would be
port of that. Oh, God, yeah. It would be so good.
Well, speaking of games that I was going to say they got ported over, but actually not. This is actually a sequel of a DS game, but another game on the Wii U. Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, which is a sequel to Kirby and the Canvas Curse, on the DS. It's got a totally different art style. This is another game that I didn't have in my collection. Went to this retro store that Randall and I had actually checked out when he was in town probably like a year and a half ago now. I think it was over the summer, so probably about a year ago, I guess. But nonetheless, I ended up been going back to the store like every handful of months just to kind of check and see what they had. And I had actually just been there pretty recently. And for whatever reason, I went to like go back. I think they had something else that had caught my eye, and I was like, I'm going to go back and, pick that up, and then ended up, just browsing around again. And I was like, I definitely don't remember them having Kirby and the Rainbow Curse last time. They actually had 2 copies of it, but thankfully, they had one that just had, how sometimes at the game store it doesn't have like the actual artwork, like it's just like a fake, sleeve of the store or whatever, with the name of the game on the spine. But they had one like really nice copy, so I went ahead and scooped that up for a little under $30, which wasn't bad. Star Fox Zero was only like 15. I'm always just surprised to see like any game that's like from that era. I just expect to pay a little bit more for it, I guess. But nonetheless, Kirby and the Rainbow Curse, I was really pumped to get this one because I really, really love Canvas Curse. I wouldn't say it's like my favorite game or anything like that, but just I really like when they do these Kirby games that like are more than, they're like a spin-off, but they're more than just a spin-off. Because like I know there's a lot of like Kirby like mini games or like, the Kirby's Dream Course
are usually really good or like really like in depth. Like they lean hard.
Yeah, like really like
mechanics.
Specific. Yeah, like Kirby's Dream Course is like a perfect example of like a game that's like, oh, Kirby like mini golf, but it's like, no, this game is fucking impossible. Like, but that's like. That one's like but that game's impossible too. Actually, I was gonna say that one's like a little more straightforward, but it's still a really hard game. But then there's like Kirby like Pinball. Like there's just so many different spin-offs and whatnot.
Kirby
then, like,
Mass Attack. Honestly, I should go back to because that one.
I own it. I've never played it. But that one felt a little gimmicky. I've played a little bit of it and didn't grab my attention. But
yeah, like I remember it being the first one where I was like, I don't know if this is clicking for me, because like usually like Canvas Curse is one of my favorite Kirby games. I think it's an incredible game, and I'm really excited to hear. I'm hopeful to hear what Rambo Curse is for you.
Yeah, and I'll say I haven't played, like I played all the way through Canvas Curse. I don't know if I 100%ed it or anything like that, but it definitely was like in that era where I was like playing games and like trying to 100% it, especially if it was like a platformer like that, and going for all the collectibles and stuff. I've only played through the first world of this one, and it's really cool. They like lean into a totally different art style. Like it's almost like a stop motion, like claymation kind of look to everything. Not just in the cutscenes, like in the gameplay, everything. Even when you just like bump into a wall, you can see it kind of like, I think it's just some kind of visual like filter effect, but like it looks like the clay gets kind of smushed, and like, you know, pushed into the wall or whatever. But otherwise, the gameplay is exactly the same. You don't have any direct control over Kirby other than you can like tap on Kirby to like make him do like a faster like roll or dash to like maybe attack an enemy or break through walls. And there's no even like copy abilities in this game. Which is something interesting. I don't think there was any in Canvas Curse either. Like
there were, but like they were very specific. There was Wheel, there was Rocket. I could not tell you if there was any other ones.
Well, I guess there could be some of that as I get further into the game, because I'm only on the first world. But yeah, it's like you're not like, you don't see like an enemy and go, let me gobble them up and you know, take their power. There might be like some scripted kind of sections that leave that for you, but nonetheless, it's just really interesting. You're like, otherwise you're just playing, again, you don't have any direct control over Kirby other than to tap and like make him do a little dash. And then you're drawing on the Wii U gamepad. And that's where it's a little bit interesting. Like unlike Star Fox, where there's like two different things on each screen, like this is literally just the exact same thing that you're doing on the TV screen is just, or on the gamepad is just mirrored on the TV screen. The only difference is obviously you just can't touch the TV screen. So I've gotten to the point where like a lot of times I'm actually just like firing up the gamepad, don't even turn on my TV, or I'm watching something else on TV and I'm just playing, you know, these levels and just chipping away at them. And they're pretty long. Like I've only beaten the first world. Maybe I didn't even finish the first world because I kind of don't remember doing the boss battle, which I would presume there is one, but I guess I don't know. Yeah, the levels are just like really long in a good way. Like there's like a lot to explore, lot to like poke around. It can be a little bit tedious, like if you try to go for everything, but like the way, like it almost has like a similar flow to like Loco Roco to me a little bit. Like it just like almost like doesn't have that same sense of momentum to the level design and like even just the character movement, but like you just kind of like, oh, okay, I like, because it's like a little bit physicsy, like I'll be like, oh, I wanted to go down that gap, but like, oh, I accidentally overshot it a little bit, and like I'll just go back next time if I end up replaying this level or something. Like it's not, I don't get that like obsessive way that I get like when I play a Mario game where I'm like, oh, I know I missed that second of the 3 coins, and like maybe I'll beat the level, but I won't move on to the next level until I like find that coin, you know, where I don't know. I like when a game like breaks me of that habit, because I can sometimes get stuck on that or hung up on that. And then, you know, now all of a sudden I'm stuck on this level that I'm frustrated with. And then next thing you know, haven't picked up the game for a week or two, because I'm like, last 2 times I picked it up, I was stuck and couldn't figure it out. And, you know, yeah, next thing you know, I'm barely playing the game or never pick it up again. So, I've just been really enjoying like chipping away at this one. It's just the charm is just like through the roof. I don't know. It's really cool to, kind of round out my Wii U collection. I guess those are kind of like the last 2 games other than, Paper Mario Color Splash that I don't have in my collection that I felt like, I feel like I need to, and they actually had that one at the game store, but it was pretty beat up and in pretty sad shape. So I decided to leave that one, behind for now, but I do want to add that one to my collection at some point in time.
Same.
But I was planning on touching on some Advance Wars Reboot Camp, but I think I'll actually save that for another time, because I haven't played it in a little while, and I went a little deeper into those last couple games than I meant to, or than I intended to, I should say. And that'll give me more time to touch on some, or to brush up on some Reboot Camp. But I will say just briefly, and I know I played this a little bit, or let you play this a little bit when I was in town, John. And I know you probably, had some minor gripes here and there, but like on my end,
minorest, like it was the small, like, it was mostly like things that were like hiccups in my muscle memory. It was like, this isn't exactly how it was. Or like, I don't like how they're not using the pixel art there for the 3D models.
Which I agree. I definitely I don't love the aesthetic, although I do think it's a really nicely put together package, the character designs and everything look nice and everything is cohesive and really well done and put together, real nicely. But I do kind of wish that it just was the original version of the artwork or whatever.
Span Island,
or at least that it was an option.
Exactly the same. So I was like, you know what? I've played this map 1,000 times. This feels perfect. So I'm definitely going to be picking it up at some point.
Nice. Yeah, that was the main thing I wanted to kind of get the feedback of, because I'm kind of enjoying it, even though it's it loses a little bit of its personality with the presentation, even though again it's really clean, really slick, real nice. But I was curious to get someone's perspective who has played a lot of those games, because I might own the Game Boy Advance ones maybe, but I don't even think I have those in my collection, so have really never put any time into the Advance Wars series. So excited to have this Reboot Camp version and know that it's hey, this is a good version of these games. Yeah. So but yeah, why don't we kick it over to you here for some of the gaming that you've been doing lately, John?
Yeah, so I'm going to give a little bit of a background. We were talking before the podcast started of games that were kind of rebooted or ported over in some manner or form, maybe not the developer that was originally behind the release is the one that's, releasing it on Steam or whatever. And I had bought Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic on Steam, who knows when, over the past decade or so, when it was on sale. And I really didn't know, what, is this the canonical version of it? This one is, developed by Origin 8 Technologies Limited and published by Atari. Chris Sawyer is the original dev, and he was a one-person team who coded the game in assembly.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, which is how you could get such a an incredible definition or detail on a game of this complexity, was because Chris Sawyer just coded it directly in assembly code, and was kind of the reason why it was impossible to port for so many years.
Okay.
But it was only after I started playing this version on Steam, which is incredible. I really love it. It feels exactly like the original game that I played on Windows 95 or Windows 98. Who knows?
Yeah, definitely that era though, for sure.
Yeah. An ancient computer that was running this incredible simulation game. But it was only after I started playing this version that I became aware of OpenRCT2, which is an open source port of the original Roller Coaster Tycoon that also has some quality of life stuff that got added in, but as a project is an open source free port of Roller Coaster Tycoon. So if you want to play it, you can just look up OpenRCT2 and download an open source free version of Roller Coaster Tycoon, which I think is really fucking cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's such a good way to preserve a game that quite honestly, I think is a masterpiece, and I really think more people should play. On this podcast, I think I've gotten deeper into simulation, automation, idle, resource management games that I wouldn't necessarily have pegged myself as a huge fan of. And I swear that probably when I was originally playing Roller Coaster Tycoon as a 9-year-old, or however old I was, I was basically probably just putting cheats on and using infinite money to just build ridiculous roller coasters that would crash into like the side of a mountain, and like that was the majority of the fun I was having then, like not actually managing an amusement park. But like now, as someone who has played a bunch of those games in like all of those genres, like I'm going back to it and trying to play it as intended, and it is unbelievable how good of like a automation idle resource management game it is. Like it has so many systems and mechanics that are really complex but not overpowering. Like you need to have like repairmen and mechanics who will repair the rides when they go down, and you will lose revenue when the rides are down, because at least in the very opening stages, I don't know if this is true for all the stages or if this was always true and I just didn't remember it correctly as a kid, but like the opening stages, there is no admission fee to the amusement park. So the only way to make money is to charge admission for the rides. And then you're in constantly like a min-max mode where you're looking at the revenue you're making month over month, and then also being like, okay, well, I have 75% customer satisfaction on all of these rides, which means I'm not overcharging for them. Like that's kind of the sweet spot to be. But this ride is like 30% satisfaction, and this is as cheap as I can go. Am I just gonna like make the merry-go-round free? It's really fascinating to see like how granular everything is. Like even on the roller coasters themselves, it will map out like the velocity and G-force that like the people on it are feeling, because if it exceeds a certain way, like people will get off the ride and will be sick.
Yeah, like if they just ate or something.
Yeah. And so you need to like, if you have a roller coaster with really high G's or really like complex, like a high nausea rating, then you need to make sure that you put a bathroom right next door to it, because people are otherwise going to be throwing up right outside as soon as they get off. Like and then you could also, the other solution is just have a handyman or like be right there who is ready to sweep up vomit constantly. Just have their patrol route be it like in that square. Like you can have such high level of customization, in addition to like you can build roller coasters. Like
as I say, I remember you being able to like customize your actual like coasters pretty decently too, you know, for the era especially. You know, obviously I'm sure it feels a little primitive now, but
no, it doesn't feel primitive. It feels incredible. Like that's the thing, is like I'm stunned with how good this game still feels. Like there's some weird things where like, you know, they hadn't standardized hotkeys, so like enter key moves the isomorphic camera like 45 degrees or 90 degrees, I guess. Like but it's such like I was expecting, or maybe not expect, I have no idea. Like I went in not really knowing what to expect, but then as soon as I started running into roadblocks or being like like I don't feel, this doesn't feel intuitive to like, this is how I drag the like viewpoint on the screen, like use the click wheel and that. But like, it only took, you know, maybe doing one park, and I've been blasting through parks in a way that like I never could as a child, because I was a child when I was playing this game. Like, but like, it's so fun. Like the like challenges for each level are like really well crafted. You are constantly managing debt because it costs so much to build a new roller coaster. You're like, all right, I just have to take out a new loan. Like I hope it generates enough money. But then once you have like a good system going, then it turns into an idle game, and you can just hit fast forward and like just see money like get generated over time. And it's like, it is it is a technical marvel and achievement that it was made so long ago and that it still holds up to this day. Like, it is wild that this was made in like the mid 90s and it's still probably one of the best like simulation games I've ever played.
Yeah, I'd be curious to go back to this one. I'm pretty sure we had it growing up, or if not, I played it like at school or something, but I definitely remember, like, I can picture the aesthetic like exactly.
Yeah.
And just remember, like, yeah, I always get a lot of satisfaction out of, like, you've kind of like returned me onto this style of game, or like the idle, the resource management.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess like through Kingdom kind of like got hooked into that kind of idea. A totally different kind of game, sorta, but like sorta similar. But yeah, with you kind of turning me back onto this like genre, I'm kind of curious to go back and see some of these, like, or even just SimCity or any of those games, like kind of earlier in those, where it's like it's like a creative game where you're like, you know, you're able to like just kind of build and do things sort of freely within your, as long as you can afford to build it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like, I don't know,
it's really
just
just
something about working
bars.
within those. Yeah. And,
like,
and working within all those interconnected systems. It's something about when all those systems connect together,
mm-hmm.
and like everything that happens, you know, will affect another thing, and like just those chain reactions, and like, I don't know. Yeah. Even playing like something like mini motorways, where like, oh, now there's like a traffic jam and what can I do to alleviate this? It's like same thing. Like, this roller coaster's got way too long of a line. What can I do to, you know,
and you can
alleviate
see
that?
the thought process of every like single individual person who's at your park. Like,
That's
they will,
crazy.
and so like certain people will have like a tolerance. They're like, I don't like roller coasters. I only like gentle rides. And then other people will be like, their thought bubble will just be like, this ride is so boring, or is like, I'm not paying this much money to go on this ride. But there's hundreds of these people, and they all have their own script and parameters. It is like, you can script kind of, you know, the duties of specific maintenance workers. So it's like, oh, this maintenance worker is only going to be like watering plants, or this one is only going to be mowing grass, or like this one is going to be like sweeping and emptying trash. And like, it's just an unbelievable game. I can't stop being just amazed at how complicated, but like not overly complicated. Like, I started playing, you know, Stellaris, and, you know, I've played Civilization 6 and other games that like have way more systems and way more complexity going on under the hood. But like, this just feels manageable. Like, it feels impressive and manageable, which is a feat.
Well, I think too, a key thing too is like having just popped in Civ 6 not too long ago on my Switch, and admittedly not giving it like a full fair shot even to like fully learn how to play.
Mm-hmm.
But like, that's part of the, like, that's half the battle. It's like, okay, I got to learn how to win with religion. I got to learn how to win with, I don't even know what all the different, you know, obviously you can just win with like war or combat. Yeah, there's a bunch of different like victory routes in those kind of games. Whereas like in Roller Coaster Tycoon, you're just, hey, I'm running this park. Like, you can kind of just intuit what the systems are doing. Even if you haven't learned it yet, you kind of just know, hey, this ride's not running as frequently as all the other ones. Like, what can I do to adjust that? Like, is it just the flow of people, and is it because it's in the back of the park? Is it,
you can add more train? You can add more cars to the roller coaster train. You can have it run smaller trains with less cars, so it's running more frequently but smaller. Like, there's so much granularity. It's incredible.
It's almost like there's a game in it. Like, you could almost make a video game, not a full game, but like out of each ride, you know, just there's like a game in and of itself out of just managing that ride or that attraction, or that layout. Yeah. Even just the layout of the park, like the overworld, if you will. I really want to fire this game back up. What did you say the open source one is called, and why does it have a 2 in the name? Is it because at first I just thought it was the sequel or something?
Because I believe that Roller Coaster Tycoon and Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 were built on the same engine. So it's both of them together in one package.
Ooh,
so it's
even cooler.
Yeah, it's OpenRCT2 is the name of it. Zero spaces in that. But yeah, you can get it on Windows, Mac, Linux. You can have it run in Steam, which is, I think, also funny.
Beautiful.
But yeah. Also, the classic version, if you're not technically inclined, like you can just get that one as well, and it's a very good port. It is such a good port. Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm definitely going to check out this open source version to see if it refreshes my memory.
Yeah. And then the last thing that I wanted to talk about, which is related, is that a game that I've been playing a ton after we record this podcast, and I'm going to do it again as soon as we're done recording and I'm exporting files. I'm going to be booting up Rusty's Retirement, which we've mentioned multiple times on this podcast. Yeah, it's come up a bunch. And it's just a good idle game. Like we've described it, it is an idle game that is a browser or like a half browser. It's like a minimizable thing that takes up, a portion of your screen if you're doing other things on your computer. And, when we're done with this podcast and we're still talking on the Discord call, I've been booting it up in the background. It's another game by Mr. Morris Games in the Haiku the Robot universe, but where Haiku the Robot is kind of like a Hollow Knight-like or, action platformer Souls-like. This is just an idle, like, resource management farm sim, and it's really good. It's just like, yeah, like I was talking a little bit, and like this isn't like a fully formed thought I have, but it's something that I've been thinking a lot as I've been playing Rusty's Retirement and like kind of zoning out and like realizing that like a song has been playing or the song changes and like it hits me. It's like, oh, I fucking love this song. Like, they're really good atmosphere generators. And I don't think like if I had listened to this song like as, just a soundtrack or something, like I think I wouldn't have the appreciation I do for it as like it being a game soundtrack. Like I think I could probably listen to, like the Into the Breach soundtrack or other game soundtracks and like listen to them without even playing the game and have some emotional attachment to them. But like, I really think there is a specific type of low action game, like, or more atmospheric, where there is kind of a minimalist soundtrack that is really made complete by it being part of an idle game or something that you're zoning out and doing like repetitively over a period of time. Like, I think it speaks both to like the game as like a complete project and like the skill of the developer to be able to like make something that is like, yeah, you kind of have to just play this game to like experience it. Like, it's not really describable or like you can't really get the same experience from like watching someone play or, taking it in portions. Like, you have to have it as its whole thing, as it's designed. And that design is kind of to be running in the background. It's kind of impressive to be like, wow, you're really good at making a game that should be half paid attention to. Like, that's a very interesting skill to develop.
Even on the music side of things, like when you were talking about that, because like you don't want to have something that's like too catchy.
Yes.
Because then you're gonna notice, oh, there's that loop again. Oh, here's that same loop over and over again. But like, and you don't want to have it be too ambient and atmospheric to where it's just, background.
You can turn
noise.
It off. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like there's that fine line of like, oh, that's like this catchy, like ambient, but also still melodic and like doesn't get repetitive. Like, it's a fine line to walk, and the fact that they can do it throughout the whole game, not just the music, is really, really cool.
I also love that it's in the same universe as Haiku the Robot, but like could not be more different on like every level of it. I was like, yeah, it's so impressive to be able to do something in the same universe, but also and make it feel like it's in the same universe. Like this doesn't feel like it's like completely out of left field, but like it's so different from Haiku the Robot. Like that's incredible.
Truly couldn't be a more and having not played it, but truly couldn't be a more different style of game.
Yeah.
Do you find yourself still like pretty much exclusively playing it like while it's off to the side, while you're doing something else, or are you playing it at all where it's like, hey, this is just the game I'm playing right now?
I mean, I've been doing a lot of work on my laptop, which is something that's been different for like, I would sometimes go like months without touching this laptop other than to record the podcast. Yeah. But like, I think now that I am, I've been making an effort to play more games that are like PC only or things that I need a mouse and keyboard. And just by being around it more, I was like, yeah, I'll boot that up for like a couple minutes at a time. Like, I don't have anything that I'm like particularly like gunning towards. It's like, absolutely, I'll play Rusty's Retirement for an hour or two. Like,
yeah, I've actually been thinking about getting for that specific like purpose, because I've been trying to play a little more like PC gaming here and there and like play stuff that needs a mouse and keyboard or whatever it might be. And like I've been thinking about, I should get like a little like lap desk or like something that I can put on the coffee table and kind of raise it up and bring I know they make those things where you kind of like bring it towards you a little bit. Cause like I don't have a good like desk area to sit other than where I edit the podcast, but then I got to like move my laptop around. It's just like no real convenient place to play. But if I had just a slightly better setup, I've been really enjoying playing like some strategy games with mouse and keyboard and whatever it might be.
But yeah, those are some great games I'm going to keep on playing for the foreseeable future.
Heck yeah. Well, I'm glad I kind of tabled Advance Wars Reboot Camp here as well, because I kind of needed an extra excuse to go back to that one.
Nice.
Because it's just so easy to be, let me just pop in this other new thing that I have, or check out this other game that I've had forever and never popped in. So, yeah, happy to leave that one on the table to pick up at another time. And I'll be curious to see if I can get any better at that game, because I'm really, really terrible.
Just put in 200 hours, then you'll learn.
Exactly.
That's what I did.
But yeah, unless you got anything else on your end, John, I think we can wrap it up there for the video games chit chat this week.
Mm-hmm.
And as always, you can find us on the internet at pursuingpixels.com and pretty much everywhere else. Just look up Pursuing Pixels. And until next week, we will catch you then, and take care.
Bye.
I love how much Rusty has come up on the podcast.
Dude, it's so good. Like, we'll talk about it, but it's really good.
Yeah, like in the various like save it for the cast and stuff. I'm like, man, I feel like I'm like putting this this game in the podcast.
I mean, for the longest time, I just kept like after we would be done recording, like we would, after we got like all the like meat of the episodes done, I would, as I was, saving the files and like when we would stop recording, I'd be like exporting the Audacity file and like waiting for the like whatever to upload onto Google Drive. I would just be running Rusty's Retirement after we recorded like every episode for, oh god, she just ripped this out. Let me see if this. All right, I'm back in. Can you hear me?
Yep. I never lost you, for whatever it's worth.
Cool. Good.
What unplugged?
We just jumped down from my lap and she took the entire like headphone jack out of the microphone with her.